Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ghost, and this is another Ghost Cast, bringing light to the unknown. Let's get rolling on episode 5. Stay tuned, it's about to be a good one. Before we get into tonight's episode, make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you're really liking the channel, and make sure you're hitting that subscribe button so you never miss an upload to the channel as well. Thank you guys for all the support. Let's get going into tonight's episode. So between snowstorms, getting sick, and some personal life issues getting in the way that I'm still dealing with, for the most part, everything's great over here. So I hope you guys have been having a great time as well. A lot of good positive feedback on the channel, the videos, getting a lot of good thumbs up and some thumbs down. So in the last few weeks, I have brought you guys some insights to some cryptids here in Indiana, one in Michigan, and a lot of it has been a little weird and some of it unbelievable, some of it more believable than others, and some of it just being simple solutions. But we're going to keep moving forward, and once we cover everything here in Indiana that I can find, we're going to start moving into more states and more paranormal. Remember, going into these stories doesn't always mean that everything I talk about or find out is true. A lot of it is just legend, a lot of it's lores, a lot of it's stories from small towns just to keep kids at bay, right? So take it with a grain of salt from what I talk about and draw your own conclusions, all right? And once again, if you guys have any of your own stories, feel free to email me at ghostcast87@gmail.com. I will be sure to check them out, read them, and even feature them here if you give me the permission to feature your stories. With all that being said, let's go to the first place of the first cryptid of the night. We are heading down to Boone County, which lies ElizaVille, Indiana, where as of 2023, only 11 people in the population were recorded. Now, the monster we're about to get into is the ElizaVille Monster. There isn't a lot to go on for this one, but from what I was able to find out, reports of this monster were started around 1924. And a lot of the stuff I was able to find was pretty much the same thing reported over and over again. So we're going to dive into what I was able to collaborate and some findings, but you be the judge of this one because it is kind of out there. The one thing I was able to find was this is a story that definitely was a small town story to help keep the kids inside from going out late at night. And I'm assuming did pretty good, but there are some instances to where hundreds of people have gone missing over the years. The so-called ElizaVille Monster is said to be between 7 and 8 feet tall and sometimes described as a boogeyman-like creature, not being of the flesh and blood state, but being more of a big-built, shadowy creature. And the little that is known of this creature, of this monster, this shadow-like demonic entity, which is where I would go with that because, a shadow-like creature, it is, Anyway, it is said to be aggressive, carnivorous, and lurks the fields and cemeteries down in Boone County in ElizaVille, Indiana. The legend states that if you park your car in the area between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and let out a loud, yelping scream, that this monster will hunt you down and drag you back to its little home, cave, lair, whatever, and rip you bone from bone and eat every part of your body. Now, a little bit of this got me thinking about Supernatural, Sam and Dean coming in the town in the Impala, and they're going to hunt this monster down in a town that's not very big, and they're just ridding the monsters of the land, But hey, who knows? It could be a thing. It could not be a thing. It could just be a story, like I said in the beginning, to keep the kids at bay. But you be the judge of it, as always. Now, over the years, there's no scientific explanation, but they seem to think that this is the reason behind the hundreds of disappearing people over the years, with cars being left on the side of the road in cornfields, and cornfields looking like they were ran through by a very large creature. Now, like I said, there is no scientific explanation to this creature existing at all, but it may be the reason behind the disappearances of hundreds of people. But there are 2 accounts of reported sightings I was able to find, and they go pretty deep to where it's kind of not believable So you be the judge of these. Let me know in the comments, and we'll just see what happens, right? Also, both of these reports are anonymous reports, so I don't have an exact date. I don't have a name. It is what it is. So the first statement comes from an anonymous report that late at night, as cars would leave town at high speeds, as if something were chasing them, and they'd be in a panic. They state they would hear loud squeals, grunts, and loud, awful noises out in the distance. The reported person this comes from states that these loud grunts and squeals sounded like they were coming from their backyard, from the field that sat behind their house. And so they would continue to hear this and call the Boone County Sheriff. The sheriffs would come out there with no avail to finding anything out there. No answers to what was making that noise, no creatures, no nothing. Now, this same person has a friendly neighbor in the same area that the farmer neighbor reported that they had a unsuspected visit from their sister for the holidays one year, and that sister had to go out and do some errands. And when she went out to do those errands at night, she never returned. She was never to be seen from or heard from again. But they did find her car on the other side of town in a cornfield, abandoned, with no suspected clues of where she might have went, what might have taken her, nothing. Now, account number 2 it's a little bit longer. I've tried to dig out the details of it, just kind of throw it together and bring it as one short story. So this one got a little gruesome, and so if you there's no graphic pictures to this, but it does get a little graphic in verbal sense. So account number 2 is reported that 4 friends from Indianapolis got directions to ElizaVille. As they were driving down a paved and gravel road in ElizaVille, they didn't notice any abandoned cars or any dead animals, anything like that. They did notice cornfields that were rustled through, houses that looked like they were bashed through. They stated that for a summer night, it was unbelievably cold, but also there was the smell of death and the feel of death in the air. It drove them a little weird, but they continue exploring the town and the roads. As they continued to explore, and the person sitting in the car with their friends, they were sitting on the side of the road, and one statement, they said that they were sitting there, and beside them they saw, sitting a few feet from the edge of the road, a human head laying sideways on a tree stump. The blood was still shiny and wet, and its eyes were still open and staring right in my direction. See, that's where I was saying in the beginning of this, that is a large leap. And, you know, that's a lot. But after that, they all got spooked and they all wanted to get out of there. So heading back to Indianapolis, the person that gave the anonymous report stated that they should call the police, but the other 3 friends said no, because there's no sense in calling them, because by the time anybody gets over there, it's going to be gone. And there's going to be no traces of anything there. And even though the anonymous statement that this came from, you know, stated that, you know, maybe there would be a blood trail, maybe there'll be blood on the stump, but they never did call the authorities or anything. They just kind of got back to where they felt safe at in their hometown, Indianapolis, and left it be. Now, like I said, personally for me, that is a very graphic description of something happening. If it ever did happen, there is no video evidence. There's no photographs of this. Like I said, this is an anonymous report. So who knows for it to be true or for it to be a complete hoax and just a story. So with that being said and everything that I was able to tell you from what I was able to find out, you know, let me know what you think in the comments. It's, I don't know, like, I believe in some weird shit, but that one is very, very out there. And that I'm on the very edge of the fence on that one. But let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see what others got to say, because the shit that's already been said about some things I've covered lately. But hey, any thumbs up, thumbs down, any negative comment, any positive comment, it all helps the channel grow. So that's fine. Let's move on to the next cryptid of the night, shall we? And the last one. The second and final cryptid of the night takes us to the banks of the Ohio River, right alongside the town of ElizaVille, Indiana. I think I said that right. I'm not 100% sure. As of 2020, the census showed that there was a little over 1,700 people in this town. And with that being said, we are heading into the legend of Mermaids. So that's weird, right? Because Indiana it's landlocked. There's not big bodies of water around it. So mermaids being somewhere in the Ohio River, but who knows? The Ohio River is huge. There's so much shit lurking in it. We've done a couple stories about things lurking in the Ohio River. So who knows? I don't know. But I've gotten comments on this channel already from people that live along the Ohio River or vacation there along the Ohio River and have said stories that there's nothing there. And I get it. Like I said, everything I talk about on these episodes doesn't mean it's all true. It's all stories. It's all lores. It is just a lot of it hearsay. And, it's the same story passed down by one person to the next. But let's get into it. And before you guys drop some crazy shit in the comments, let's just go through this real quick, all right? In 1802, Swiss settlers started settling in the town, which is now known as ElizaVille, Indiana. And in the 19th and 20th century, mermaid-like creatures known as mud mermaids were spotted living on the muddy banks of the Ohio River. Now, it wasn't until 1839 a Pennsylvania newspaper stated them being about 4 feet high, covered with a light coat of chestnut-covered hair, but they are also described as having yellowish-colored skin and webbed feet. Even though through different sightings, the appearances of these things would change a little bit, but the same thing always remained, that they were vaguely humanoid and looked a little amphibious. Now, I have my own thoughts on this, on what they actually probably saw. That doesn't even make sense. But from what I was reading, as I was reading all this and doing some research, it came down to the same conclusion that my mind was coming up with, and we'll see if we're all matching on the same page here in a little bit. But then in 1894, an Ohio newspaper reported that mermaids have taken up residence on a sandbar on the Ohio River near Vayavay, Indiana. And like I said, if I'm saying that wrong, I super apologize. Also, the Cincinnati Enquirer gave a very detailed description of these creatures. And I quote, "The beast is about 5 feet in length. Its general color is yellowish. The body between the forelegs resembles that of a human being. Back of the hind legs, it tapers to a point. The extremities resemble hands and were webbed and furnished with sharp claws. It is devoid of hair. Its ears are sharp, pointed, and stand up like those of a dog." End quote. Now, even though these mud mermaids, are said to keep to themselves and kind of not go near humans, not really attack them, it is said they are easily startled and can run at very high speeds and also swim at very high speeds due to the amphibious body style that they obtain. Now, the sharp teeth and claws may look threatening, but from what reports have stated, they only use them to eat small fish and other small river-like creatures and just prowl on all that. So you ain't gotta worry if they're out there. They're more scared of you than you are of them. And once again, before I get into this, there is no date to these reported sightings that I'm about to tell you. I do have a name of one reported sighting person, but other than that, there's no dates, there's no times, and there's really not a lot of names. So this is the best I could do. If you guys have any more info on what I'm reporting on or researching on, however you want to word it, throw them in the comments, drop me some links, or email me at ghostcast87@gmail.com because, hey, set me straight. Why don't ya? All right. So another reported finding comes from a fisherman that says he saw the heads of the mermaids in the water, even though he has never heard of the tale of the mud mermaids or the legend. But the details he gave seem to match up very well with the findings of others later in time. The last reported account that I could find on the mud mermaids comes from Captain J.M. Ozier of Covington, Kentucky. Now, the captain has heard of these creatures, but he's never witnessed them until this report. He states that he was on the banks of the Ohio River when he suddenly saw a mud mermaid swimming about 20 feet from him, and he was able to do a detailed pencil drawing of that mud mermaid, stating that this amphibious creature looked like a male subject. Now, I gotta say that these two are probably the most bizarre and out there cryptids I have covered so far. Definitely, I mean, it doesn't really leave any, for me, it doesn't leave really any room to go, oh yeah, no, that's totally real. Now, I feel like the ElizaVille Monster is probably just more of a hoax and just a story just to scare people, and the whole head thing, that's a little out there. That's a far stretch. And with the mud mermaids, I know that you guys know, well, some of you may know that, you know, sirens, mermaids go back as far as, you know, sailing goes back. But yes, these two stories definitely are a far reach, but it is on the list of cryptids here in Indiana, and I had to cover them. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments of this one, and yeah, we'll go from there. And let me know if you want to start seeing more paranormal direction or some more cryptids, and if you have any ideas for what you want me to cover, let me know and we'll go from there. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be updated on every time I upload a video, even shorts. And if you didn't like the video, I apologize, but hit that thumbs down anyway. It still helps the algorithm of YouTube channel. All right. Once again, I'm not here to make you believe everything I'm talking about. Everything I do talk about is not 100% facts. A lot of it's fiction, and a lot of it is just, you know, it's fun to humor yourself in this type of stuff. So enjoy it. Look into it more for yourself, or just watch weird documentaries. There's more out there than what meets the eye. So until next time, guys, my name is Ghost. This has been another Ghost Cast, bringing light to the unknown, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Let me know what your favorite ones are so far between the 5. All right, till next time, guys, as always, I'll see you later.